What's going on, guys? Back with another video. We're gonna be checking out our AC system. My car's been doing some funny things lately. Funny things all the time actually, but we're gonna do some AC troubleshooting today. Summer is upon us and I really need to get the AC fixed just because I got the little guy now riding with me and I want him to be cool at all times just in case. So I had more motivation this time around to get it fixed properly. Hopefully we can get this AC fixed longer than 20 minutes and we can kind of find the leak and troubleshoot and fix the problem. So let's go on ahead and get started. I'm gonna replace some O-rings on the high pressure and low side today. I'm hoping that's where the leak may be. I can also, inject some AC dye into the whole system, make it a little easier, but I'm actually gonna be using some R134A stop leak today, along with another one just in case if I don't have enough. So we have a couple things here, and I was reading in my good old user manual here, a little procedure on how to do it and what to do, what not to do. Here's the O-rings that I purchased through Subaru. I got both O-rings, one for the high and low side of the AC system. It's really just a little dinky guy there, and then another little dinky guy there. I swapped in some O-rings I had laying around, but I never even tested the system. But I wanted to go on ahead and order the correct ones. That way I know for sure those are the right ones, and those are the ones that should be sealing. So I couldn't blame it on the ones I had laying around. And yeah, we're gonna see if those are gonna work out for us. Just gonna remove this shroud so I can see that AC compressor a little easier. Before you unscrew this high pressure port to check the O-ring, you're gonna wanna make sure that your high pressure, oh my God, there it went. There it is right there. Could have lost it forever. You little slipper salamander. So before we go on ahead and take off these two ports to change the O-rings, you're gonna wanna make sure that your high pressure line has 0 pressure in it, or else this thing will just blow off. In my case, I had no pressure in the line because I have a leak somewhere. It's kind of like a bike tire tube where you can just push in that little needle and it should release any pressure, but beware, it is toxic and you should probably not do it. You should probably consult your nearest AC professional before you do any of that. You want to be in a well ventilated area. You want eye protection, ear protection, face protection, whatever, all kinds of protection before you go on ahead and release that. I don't believe you can actually release that legally, so never mind what I said. So make sure this is depressurized. Hopefully you have, a leak in the system and you won't have to worry about that like my case. So let's move on. So this high pressure side over here is going to be a 12 millimeter, and as well as the low pressure side is going to be a 12 millimeter as well. There we go. Let's take a look at the O-ring. So there's that one. I'm just going to remove the O-ring with the little pick that I got here. The original O-ring that I switched out actually broke in half and I ended up losing it. So I couldn't really compare the size, so that was another way. Oh, see, like that, I almost just dropped it. I did just drop it. So I'm glad that I did go with the OEM ones, just because I can already see a difference in the sizes. I just was eyeballing it and you can clearly see the green one that I put in there was a little bit smaller than the OEM correct size. So we're gonna go on ahead and get this new one swapped in, and I'm gonna apply a little bit of grease, or like silicone, a little bit of silicone grease I guess, just so the O-ring doesn't get damaged when I press it back on. I just put a real light layer on there, nothing crazy. So I'm just gonna kind of stretch this over the port from the front. Pretty straightforward, I'd say. And just like that, O-ring is on. There's the new O-ring, looking good. Just gonna gently press this back into place. Make sure your port's looking clean. Just gonna wipe down on the inside of this hole a little bit. Make sure there's no debris in there. That way your O-ring will do its job correctly. Just gonna press this back in gently. You'll feel the O-ring seat into place. Put our screw back in. Snug it up. Not too tight. Alright, moving on to the low pressure side. Remove the 12 mil bolt. Let's remove this from the port. There's our O-ring. Swap this one out. Here's our low pressure side. It was pretty close in size here, but you could tell it's just slightly different. So again, glad I went with the OEM size. Same thing, gonna lube it up a little bit, get it back into place. See if we can work this one on. Stretch it on. There we go. Same thing, put her back into place. Gently push it on, and the bolt goes back in. Just snug. Alright, so far it's about a $3 investment with the new O-rings. So can't really go wrong with that. I'm hoping it's not really too significant. I'm hoping it's just a small little leak and it's not going to be the AC compressor itself, because that'd be pretty pricey, I'd say. But before I go on ahead and recharge the system, I was reading in my owner's manual. Better yet, I was reading in my, what is this? Service manual? Yeah, service manual. Okay. So I was reading in my service manual and I found out, so if you look down here, this is going to be your pressure switch for the whole AC system. And that tells your AC compressor to kick on when there's proper pressure in the system. So before we actually start filling the system, I'm going to run a jumper wire and it'll tell the car that there's proper pressure in the system, and it will go on ahead and kick on the AC compressor like constantly. Just gonna move my little coolant overflow reservoir here. Just presses in right there and then comes out. Just gonna rotate it to give myself some more room here. So it's basically just one little clip on the bottom side here that you're gonna push in. Just be real careful with it because mine's kind of rusted and I'm sure yours is too. She's an old girl and we gotta be careful. It's a pretty stiff connector though. So you just gotta press in this tab here and it should release for you. I mean, I'm sure a paper clip would be much easier and I don't have one at the moment. So I'm just gonna use this little black wire here. I think it's extra from my stereo install. Let's go ahead and get this connected here and I'll show you what's next. So I have one end of the wire into the connector there. The other end is right up here. So when I actually have the AC engaged, I'm gonna go on ahead and put the other end of the wire in the connector here, and then the clutch should turn on. Over on this side of the car, you'll find your low pressure port. That's where you're gonna actually recharge the system. So let's go ahead and unscrew that. So I'm gonna go for the regular refrigerant first before trying the stop leak. So we're going with the AutoZone favorite, R134A refrigerant. I'm going with this reusable pressure gauge as well. The nice thing is about these things that it only actually connects to the correct port. So it'll only connect to the low pressure port. You won't be able to get it onto the high pressure port. So you can't really mess this up. So basically on this thing, there's a little dial that you can twist to the ambient temperature outside. Say it's about 68 degrees in my garage right now. So I'm gonna rotate it between 65 and 70. And then that's where you're gonna wanna stop when the gauge reads in between those red lines, right at the arrow in the middle. So pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and open the garage and get to pumping. I'm gonna go on ahead and put this on the low pressure side here. You just pull it and put it on, kind of like an inner tube. There we go. Okay, screwed the bottle on. I guess I'll read the directions real quick. Done this before. Pretty much says turn your AC on max cooling. While you're charging the system, you want to hold the can upright, rotating can between 12 and 3 o'clock every 2 to 3 seconds while continuously agitating, shaking can back and forth. So I pretty much just go like this. One last little note, be sure to put back your little reservoir here or else it will hit on the fans when these things kick on. So just be sure to just put this back so it's out of the way of the fans. Alright, kick on the AC, max AC. Show you guys this little trick here. So I'm going to touch the wire onto the other side of the port and the AC compressor should kick on. Just watch your fingers. There it goes. And the fans kick on as well. So I'm going to wedge this in there pretty good and then start filling. Refill. There it goes. Can starts to get really cold. Alright, we're holding about 10 psi now. 15. Can's almost feeling empty at this point. About 25 psi. Alright, I think we're empty. We're just getting to the green on here. Ooh, we are blowing cold, that's for sure. Definitely ice cold in here, but again, if it's gonna be temporary, that's not what I want. I don't want it to be temporary because that's what happened last time. The little jumper wire can probably be removed and hopefully the high pressure sensor is working. But yeah, we got one full can in the system. Just remove the hose, putting on the cap. Now, I guess I'll let you guys know if the AC sticks around. Stay tuned. Next morning, moment of truth. Will the AC fire up? Let's check it out. I mean, granted it is 55 degrees outside. The AC does still feel really cold. So the only real test is gonna be later on today when it heats up. But as of right now, we have AC R134A still in the system, and I'm very happy about that. So stay tuned, we'll see what happens. All right, here's the moment of truth. It is the next day, late afternoon. Time to check the AC. Hopefully it is still blowing cold. We will see. Here we go, right now. Real time, I'm gonna figure this out. Start her up. Okay. We are at 64 degrees outside, which is still a little chilly, but let's go ahead and throw this on. Hit the AC, we should hear it kick on. All right, so far so good. He is blowing cold, baby. We are holding steady with the cold AC. So I'll update you guys a little later if anything changes. And if not, hell yeah, brother. We fixed the problem. Just like that, AC remained cold all the way home. Granted, it's about 5-minute drive, but I mean, either way, I'll take the win. So we are holding steady with the AC. Just tune in tomorrow and I'll update you guys again, but so far, so good. Okay, day 2. Let's see if our AC is still kicking on. AC, blasting. Oh, I feel it chilling. I feel the chill coming, so we are holding steady in the system. It's a wonderful feeling, that's for sure. Man, I can't wait to use this AC on those hot summer days, but I think this actually, these O-rings actually fixed my problem, and I couldn't be more happy. So far as a $3 O-ring fix, minus the can of R134A, but other than that, I mean, I am excited about that. All right, stay tuned, we'll see what happens. All right, just getting her warmed up here. It's a whopping 66 degrees outside. We'll flip on this AC here. 65 and engage. Give it a second. I think I already feel it changing. Oh yeah, baby, it's already getting cold. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Here's another test. It's been about a month since I swapped out those O-rings on the AC compressor. And we're gonna kick on the AC and hopefully it kicks on for us here. Full AC is blowing to the face and the feet, and we are chilling. Still chilling. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. You really can't beat a $3 O-ring fix minus the cost of the refrigerant. But still, I mean, it's a win-win in my book. So thanks for checking out the video. Hope it can help you out. And yeah, give it a try for yourself. I mean, it's $3. Could be a cheap fix. Go on ahead and try it for yourself. All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.